The Hakapupu catchment, or the Pleasant River catchment, is around 13,000 hectares. It's characterised by quite a low annual rainfall, so around about 650 millimetres a year, and that rainfall is typically clustered in some very heavy clumps, interspersed with long periods of no rainfall at all. So there's a low population, there's not many people live in the catchment, and it's a mix of moderate productivity sheep and beef farming and commercial forestry. 30 years ago, there was no commercial forestry in it at all. And over these last couple of decades, forestry's expanded to now cover around about half of the total area, and most of that's up the back of the steeper parts of the catchment. Farming typically here is moderate to low productivity, so there's not a really intensive use of commercial fertilisers, which is helpful for the local waterways. So in these long periods when there's no rainfall at all, the catchment might have no visible flow within the waterways, and so the farmers would potentially benefit the waterways by looking after those deep pools. Plant the surroundings out with natives to help moderate the temperature fluctuations during the summer, and fencing stock out from upstream of those pools just to minimise the amount of sediment that's going into them. Then they could potentially be a great help to those aquatic organisms that, as the water systems dry out, those refugia pools become really important havens for them. So when it's in full flood, where the truck is here, there's water flowing over the road, and it's just a heaving brown mass of sediment-laden water.
One of the big issues in the area is sediment loss. This catchment has had a large project in the area for the last 3 years called the Hakapupu project. Approximately 90,000 plants have been planted in the catchment. So hopefully by planting some of these banks up and stabilising them, we're going to prevent some of the sediment from entering the waterway and travelling down into the estuary environment. So we're in one of the lovely riparian planting spots in the Hakapupu catchment. Behind me is a wonderful example of the planting that's been happening here over the last few years. You can see toy and flax thriving, a whole range of other species like ribbonwood as well, and it just looks fantastic. So one of the great things about this site is you can see that it's planted in a swale. So there will be water through here in heavy rain events. There might be a little bit trickling the rest of the time, but mainly it's just a damp, low-lying gully, which is really typical for East Otago. And these areas are the hot spots for sediment and nutrient movement. So the sediments and nutrients will roll off those hills and they'll sit here. And then in the flood events, they get carried down to the main creeks and rivers. And so the planting that's been happening here and the fencing off of the stock means that those sediment and nutrients will settle out, they'll stay here, and we won't lose them to the river. We really need to focus on where the rainfall events happen, and so the easiest thing for farmers to do is go out and have a look when it rains and see where those hot spots are, see where the water's flowing, and see if there's places where they can slow the flow down. If everyone can do a little bit at the start of where those events are happening or in the smaller tributaries, it's easier to do simple remediation like the planting behind us, and it means that over the whole catchment you actually get improvements all the way down the catchment, and it makes it much easier to look after the health of the river.